All right, welcome. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest today, Jeff Raker. He is a seasoned executive leadership coach, bringing decades of experience in both ministry and sport to his work with leaders, teams, and athletes. Following a 36-year tenure as pastor, Jeff transitioned in 2019 to full-time executive leadership coaching. He holds 2 professional coaching certifications and helps clients sharpen their leadership presence, self-awareness, communication, and results. A former collegiate swimmer at the University of Cincinnati, Jeff continues his love for the water as a master swimmer and national champion. He also has served as an official for decades, including as a starter for FINA, now World Aquatics, and remains deeply involved in the sport of swimming through officiating and mentorship. Married to Stephanie for 39 years, Jeff is a proud father of 3 and grandfather of 7. He earned his seminary degree from Asbury Theological Seminary and now draws on his pastoral leadership experience in his coaching practice, guiding executives and athletes to lead with purpose, authenticity, and impact. This conversation was magical. Once again, I took notes and tucked away questions to bring and right into the heart of my life as a mom, into the car rides, into these pockets and spaces where presence is so important. So I'd really encourage you to lean in with a level of curiosity. It's like, no matter what stage or age our kids are at, there is something for us inside of here. So, all right, without further ado, here is Jeff Raker. All right. Welcome, Jeff. I'm so grateful to have you here with us today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to share with us.
You're welcome. It's fun. Looking forward to this for a few weeks. So yeah.
All right. So the first question that I love to ask our guests is to share with us your cultural upbringing and background and how that shaped or how you feel like that's shaped who you've become today.
Yeah, sometimes hard to tell, right? Until you look back. So mostly growing up in Southwest Ohio, and still live in this region. Grew up swimming. Cincinnati Marlins, because they were like the only team that existed for that period of time in the area. And then after I swam into college, and then went to seminary. So I've been a pastor for 37 years, and that has obviously had a massive shaping of my world and how I see the world and how I approach the world. My wife and I met in youth group at church. Now, the funny part of the story is we're the same age. You'll completely understand this. She met me when we were 14, and I met her when we were 16.
Totally.
Guys are
I love it.
a little slow. But yeah, we've been married 39 years now. Uh,
That is so beautiful. Yeah.
it's been a great ride. So 3 kids. Got 8 grandbabies. One that we will
Oh,
get to meet one day in heaven. But yeah, we love spending time with the grandbabies, and yeah, just supporting the kids, and so that's yeah, that makes life very full, very good. Yeah.
thank you for sharing. So this space, there's so many places that we could pause and travel down these different roads. And I'm really going to let you decide where we start in terms of your experience. You mentioned being a pastor and how that's shaped your lens and view. And today you also work, and you've been doing so for 6+ years as an executive leadership coach, and you're also an author, right? And this ability and your YouTube. So I would add that to this list of
That's
resources. So just, yeah. Well, so start, we'll let you decide which road we travel down in terms of, the connection. What here is to parents And the intention is being able to provide a space for us to lean in and learn and
Yeah.
listen and grow to help us develop our kids. And so really in terms of, maybe start with pastor piece or start with leadership piece. I'll let you decide which way we
Let's
go.
just kind of go chronologically
Yeah,
here for a moment. So
sure.
uh, in 2000, my kids started swimming, and I am a horrible timer, so I became an official. And, you got to know
That's funny.
your strengths and weaknesses. Um, and so started officiating, just to
Mhm.
participate with the kids, but also kind of coming back to the sport that really was a big part of my world. Um,
Mm.
in 2011, I was approached by some people with USA Swimming, and right place, right time, right age. I mean, it was dumb luck.
Mm.
And they said, we want to move you onto the FINA list as a starter.
Oh, cool.
So you're like, what's FINA? I was, I knew, but
Yeah.
you're just like, excuse me, what does this mean? And I'm telling you, from 2011 to 2018, I had this rare privilege of getting
Oh,
to
cool.
represent the United States at World Championships and World University Games and Olympic trials, and didn't get the Olympics, but you know everything
Yeah.
everything under that, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, what a privilege to
I'm
get to
so
do.
curious. Yeah.
What do you?
Oh, well, in that time period too, thinking in terms of like, the growth of swimming, what, I want to like pause and double click on this from your perspective. Do you notice or have you noticed in that vantage point from the officiating seat? Yeah. In terms of our kids,
ten
right? Like
percent
in terms of just what's the noticing? Yeah.
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 Um, I I don't know. I mean, everybody's faster. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you're like,
That's real.
um,
Mhm.
but people are there's more options today. There's more
Mhm.
ways
Mhm.
to keep swimming. Um, and from the officiating standpoint, we say to each other often, many of us, it's like, it's just swim officiating. Remember this.
Well, why does that happen? Because it's intense? Tell us, like, what, tell us this, because many of us have not
People
been on that side. Yeah.
people like to start. People like to blow a whistle.
Mhm.
Um, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I have my preference of what I'd like to do, but you're just there to serve. And so now there's where
Mm.
I think the pastor side comes in. Um, do
Mhm.
do what do whatever comes. Do whatever's available.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
make sure you leave room for people coming after you too. I mean, I don't do many
Mm.
national things anymore. And that's okay.
Mhm.
Would I like to? Yeah. um, but it's okay because we're there for the athletes. We're
Yeah.
not there for ourselves. And boy, could I tell you
Mhm.
stories about officials who have done some things that it's like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, you're not, no, no, because they
Mhm.
kind of made it more about them, and so yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen. Nobody's ever asked me this question either.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know that I've
Well,
seen.
the vantage. Oh,
Go,
go
yeah.
ahead. Well, I had an opportunity, I don't remember what year it was, to work with the officials. I was doing like a symposium
Mm-hmm.
in Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
and they had me build in time with officials, and it was the first, now, but just being honest, right? Like it was the first time I had ever really like appreciated
Yeah.
all like sat in a room with the humans who make these meets run without them, right? So there was this like adult version of me in that space going, oh wow, like wow, I've really never noticed and been
Yeah.
expressed gratitude for those that are like running this behind the scenes or in the scene. The other piece of it was they were really, I was there talking in the mental health advocacy space just about my story and how do we support our kids. And so in that one, I left it a little bit open because I wasn't quite sure what would pop.
Uh-huh.
And the things that they were asking were like when we notice coaches showing up in a particular way or parents showing up in a particular way or an athlete that's struggling, like it's almost like a fly in the wall and the noticing. And so then this ability, we had a great conversation in terms of what could they do, what could they control. Yeah, so in that way you're having the adult interactions and those challenges, right? Of like when we get activated in our ego. And then there's also this ability for you to see things from a different lens.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just curious when it comes to athletes that are thriving and doing well, at least from the outside, what you're
Uh-huh.
noticing. And then, yeah. So we'll take that and
Yeah, I like that thought. I do notice more athletes
mm,
asking for help. I believe I see that.
mm,
They're having conversations with coaches that are different
mm,
than 2011 and before. So
mm-hmm,
that's good, and I think in some sense we've all noticed it that yeah, since the pandemic, people are actually going, oh yeah, I could probably use some help. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
I need to talk about this. Great, but even before that, I think I've noticed some of those conversations because I can be standing like on the 15-meter mark,
mm-hmm,
and there's coaches behind me. I'm waiting,
mm-hmm,
and I hear some of these conversations. I so want to
mm-hmm,
turn around and be like, "No, don't ask that question," or do ask a
mm,
question because coaches love to tell. They don't like to find out where the athlete is. It
mm,
doesn't come naturally, and
yeah,
we can get into that here in a bit.
yeah,
But yeah, kids are asking more questions. Athletes are asking more questions.
mm-hmm,
To peer ahead just a little bit in my world. I mean, my schedule of high school athletes who I'm connecting with and supporting is
mm-hmm,
just it just keeps going.
mm,
And so yeah, let's help. And
yeah,
so um, here's where I think I can tie some of the things together.
yeah.
Um, because we are whole human beings. We're not these little slices of life, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so in 2012, we're at Olympic trials officiating, and some of the officials said, "Hey, we're here on Sunday. There's no prelims
Mhm.
because it's the last day." And they said, "Would you lead a worship service?" Sure, let's do that.
Mhm.
About half the officials showed up. It was really astounding, and that began a process where I started a ministry, if you will, to
Mhm.
officials where I would lead a devotion during these meets,
Mhm.
Pro Series meets, juniors, nationals, etc.
Mhm.
Um, So we did that again in 2016 at Olympic trials, except at that, Athletes in Action, familiar with them?
Mhm. Yep.
So, because their headquarters is like 45 minutes up the road from me.
Yeah.
Um, so, Athletes in Action partnered with them, and we did a devotion every morning before prelims
Mm.
um, at trials. And a coach, Mike Simpson. He was at Gardner Webb
Mhm.
at the time,
Mhm.
and he had kind of heard about my devotions going on, and I had heard about this guy because he did some too for coaches and athletes. Now I did mine for officials because I really wanted to keep that line between
Mm.
athlete. You know, if an athlete's coming to this, I wouldn't want anybody else to get the idea that we were going to play favorites. So
Mm.
really was trying to be aware of how that looked. So Mike and I meet at this devotion, and he says, "So you're a pastor?" We're walking back down on deck. I said, "Yeah, I'm also an executive leadership coach." And he has these big, huge hands, and he puts one on my shoulder, and he goes, "We need to talk." Oh, now, so then came this question from him. I should probably add 2013, I got my first certification as an executive leadership coach
Mhm.
just to be a better pastor. And there's a whole
Mm.
story there of what happened there that I'll touch on.
Yeah.
But Mike and I, 2016, we have breakfast in South Carolina a couple of months later, and he goes, "So Jeff, how many people do you know who are college athletes, seminary trained pastor, FINA starter, um, master swimmer, and oh, by the way, certified executive leadership coach?" And he sat back in his seat, and I'm like, one. But Samantha, then came the question: what do you think God wants to do with that?
Mm.
I mean, the air went out of the room. They're like, "Oh my, okay." And
Yeah.
that really did begin the whole process. So I left leading local churches in 2019, never having intended to, but
Mm.
it was just, you just pay attention, right?
Mhm.
You pay attention.
Yeah.
So let me backtrack just one bit. 2013, I get this certification as an executive leadership coach, and our home club at this point is the Mason Manor Rays.
Mm.
My son swam for them, and I officiated with them, obviously. And 2013, I get this. So Coach Ken Heiss, the head coach, he goes, "Hey,
Mhm.
Jeff, I want you to come work with our athletes." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What?" Not on the radar at all.
Mm.
And we did some things just on self-awareness and accepting who
Mm.
you are, and oh my goodness. And so getting ready to begin my 12th or 13th year with them.
Mm.
And that was, so that kind of, all these little pieces started happening.
Mhm.
And so left leading local churches, and for now going on 7 years, doing executive leadership coaching full time. Um, and
So.
yeah, it's, I mean,
Yeah.
I work with Toyota, I've worked with the Department of Energy, I've worked with these big companies and small companies, but teams,
Mhm.
athletes,
Mhm.
because I really work in the people space.
Yes. Yes, that's it. And you already named the whole human piece. And so
Yeah.
this idea, yeah, the place of asking questions, like this is a huge, at least how I experience your work online and the book that you've written, of asking questions and this leaning in with curiosity. And so for the parents who are listening,
Yeah.
now, of course, there are parents who are coaches and on boards and all these places, right? Like leaning in, going, "Hey, wait, hold on. Can we bring that here?" And in the car with our kids. So if you go back,
Yes.
how did your experience as a pastor, an athlete, and then this leadership folding in the trainings and your experience there, like what, when it came to parenting, like what did you pull into your own parenting and now as in the grandparent role, like that you would
Yes.
pay forward or offer us as parents who are on this journey?
Yes. I wish I knew back in 2000
Mhm.
what I knew in 2015, but because
Totally.
parenting is on the job training, right? It's, you do the
Mhm.
best you can with the moments you have and the information you have. And I sometimes joke with people
Yeah.
that, I think every parent puts their kid into therapy a little bit. I mean, it's just, we're,
Yes,
we're,
that's real.
human.
Yeah.
We're human. and it's okay.
That's
Um,
it. Hmm.
so I didn't ask as many questions when my kids were
Mm.
swimming and at home. I asked a lot, and they would tell you to this day, they're like, "Oh, you've always asked questions," and I have. There's always been this curiosity. Now I learned to ask
Hmm.
questions actually at seminary because a lot of the training
Mm.
was ask questions of the text in the Bible. Oh,
Mm.
so kind of always been there, and then certainly interacting with people as a pastor, you're like, so tell me what's happening. So tell
Mm.
tell me more. So that's kind of been there. Um, Formalized it as I learned executive coaching.
Mm.
If parents and coaches, if parents
Right.
would ask questions more,
Hmm.
they would get more information,
Hmm.
because we all know teenagers don't always want to share. How was the meet? Fine. You're like, and then you're getting ready to go to bed. You're crawling into bed, and they walk in and sit on the end of the bed and say, "Oh, let's talk." And you're like, "Oh, okay."
Wait, stop, hold on. Stop right there. What's happening there? That's so true. It's like, well, my goodness, really what? And I don't want to turn it down because it's a window. Also, I want to set healthy boundaries. So, like,
But
help us out there.
you
What do we,
talk.
like, what's,
Yeah,
yeah,
you listen. You
yeah, you talk,
talk.
you listen. Yeah.
Well, one of the things my mom did, and she'll remind her grandkids and her great
Yeah.
grandkids that I would come home from practice. I would grab a half gallon of ice cream out of the freezer. I would sit on the counter while she was cooking dinner, but I talked.
Mm. Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, you just I mean every parent has to handle it differently, but when your teenager wants to
Hmm.
talk, you listen. I don't care
You
when it
listen.
is. I don't care where it is. I don't care what time it is. I'm always a
Mm.
fan of that. I'm the
Yeah.
adult. I can figure out how to manage my day if
Mm.
my child needs to talk about this. Now,
Yeah.
here's where the questions come in.
Hmm.
Um, because so often we, as coaches, as parents, as spouses, we tell people, oh, you shouldn't feel that way.
Mm.
Or, oh, no, don't feel that way. Or, and you're like, no, it's just a feeling.
Mm.
And it's a real feeling. Oh, and it's okay to feel it.
Hmm.
Whatever I feel is okay.
Mm.
So, like when I work with athletes one on one, I will often, begin let parents vet me out, and we do a phone call or a video call, and just who is this guy? Why should I listen
Hmm.
to him? Kind of a thing. And so I will talk about that, because a lot of parents ask me like, how. Will you talk to me as a part of this process?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it. And so, um, some of the questions that I recommend. You
Mm.
care if we go here?
Yeah, 1,000%. I'd love because I literally read your book and was like, "Oh, that's a great question." No, like literally, like no, like literally,
Title of the
that's the
book,
name of the
right?
book, right? Like that's a great question. I'm like, "Oh, that's a really good one." Like just so absolutely. I think the more well, and also the way it's so present from the beginning of our connection today. It's just this presence and a calm energy and this like acceptance of present moment, which does not mean that we're not wanting to grow and get better, right? And strive. It's just this like grace in this moment as it is. And that I think is something that has taken me personally work to get to be able to keep returning back to that space and then reminding myself to come back to that space. So that is a huge piece of what I'm even like you're bringing already without even saying it. I can feel it. Yeah. Yes. So I would love for you to, and there maybe even like questions that we don't want to ask or
Right.
how to ask better questions.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Being present, first of all, starts with
Mm.
the parent, the coach, because even if I'm coaching an executive in business, or I'm coaching a coach, or I'm coaching an athlete, I gotta be here. So I gotta be okay
Mm-hmm.
with being here. And and hey, in the midst of raising kids, I mean, we had one kid, we thought it was a good idea, and then we deliberately had a second one and maybe a third one. And what were we thinking? Uh, um, and yet we wouldn't trade it. So how do I be
Mm-hmm.
present with them? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's got to be on their schedule. So part of it starts with, can I be in charge of me and
Mm-hmm.
not flip out when my child says something that triggers me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell people all the time, it's not about you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not about you. I mean, I would
Mm-hmm.
I would sometimes in a worship setting and doing a sermon, I would tell people, hey, look at the person next to you and tell them it's not about you,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not. And when we
Yeah.
make it about us, we mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the foundation, I think, of asking great questions. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, my favorite question. This is golden. Look at your child going home from a session of a meet, or
Mm-hmm.
at the end of a day, or at the end of the whole weekend. So meets last forever, don't they? Wow, what drove us to this sport? My wife was not a swimmer, and she swam one high school season, and she'd like rather eat dirt than swim. And so, so morning workouts, she's like, "This is your fault. You're in charge." So,
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
um, so ask your child,
Mm-hmm.
scale of 1 to 10. Where was that for you?
Mm. Yeah.
That's it. And just listen to what they say.
Mm.
And some,
I can already feel myself like wanting to lean in and like ask more questions like
yeah,
that. So there's also an inner command of self that we're going to need to work our muscle there to be patient, to listen in that space. Yeah, so beautiful.
because if my child feels a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
what did I do?
Mm.
You are an
Yeah.
imperfect human being
Mm-hmm.
who is raising imperfect human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, have you messed up? Then apologize and ask for
Yeah.
forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just allow yourself to be human. Allow them to.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes there's work for the parent to do
Mm-hmm.
on themselves. Yeah. I mean, if you came from a divorced home, my word, that has an impact. If you came from a an alcoholic home, there's work, and it helps you
Mm-hmm.
ask the question. So you can't insert yourself into that. You don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not about you. This is about you connecting with your child. So hey, scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel like it was? Um, and here's the key, though, Samantha. You don't
Mm.
care what the number is.
Oh, that's another level. That's like, yes, yes, I hear, yes, yes. And I want for anyone listening to, I'm sharing my kind of like visceral responses because I think we also need to name that
Yeah,
because it's just because we have that response doesn't mean we have to engage and like let that drive, but being able to
correct.
work toward this okay, my impulse urge might be to dive in and squeeze, and also noticing and acknowledging. And I cannot remember who shared it with me. I'm blanking right now, but this like wisdom of your body when it reacts that way of like, oh, that's something for me to go get curious about. Like
Right.
what's happening for me?
No.
So in that space, not caring, yes, take us, yeah,
Yeah.
not giving value to the number that they assign.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
feel myself saying, what's the next question?
there is a great question. But let's hang here for a
Yeah.
minute because I think it's so important.
Yeah.
Feelings are legitimate, they're real, and we want to validate them.
Mhm.
I've been married 39 years, Samantha. I learned very early on I should never look at my wife and say, "Oh, you shouldn't feel that way."
No.
No, it's the way she
Right.
feels. I don't have to understand it.
Mm.
I don't have to agree with it,
Mhm.
but I do have to
Mhm.
legitimize it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah.
It's just what they feel. To ask them not to
Mhm.
feel is to ask them to not be human. Humans feel.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh.
So think about, and here's where I would encourage parents to kind of have this uh, mindset or this framework. Um,
Mhm.
if I'm working with an athlete, I want to hear what they're feeling, but the challenge is, okay, there's all these feelings you have. What gets to be in charge of you?
Mhm.
Not the
Mm.
you can feel it. And so I'm sure you've used this with the athletes you support, but it's well, tell me what you want to do. Well, I want to go this time, or I want to get to this meet, or I want to do this thing.
Mm.
If it's swimming, um, and I say, okay,
Mhm.
well, so go do it. But I'm scared, and I say, so do it scared.
Yeah. So, and this, are you familiar with Susan David's work around with emotional agility? And
No,
her phrase is emotions are messengers, not dictators.
uh,
And I
love
just love that because I'm like, they
love
don't get to be the boss of you, but they can be invited to the table and we can
that.
hear what they have to say. They just don't get to drive. Yeah.
Because if
Yeah. It's,
of those away. And you have this story from your days. I have this story from mine.
mm,
I still have it as a master swimmer. um,
yeah. Yeah.
if I spend time trying to get rid of the emotion and the feeling, I'm going to exhaust
Hmm.
myself.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
it's not about
And it makes it,
it,
it grows. Yeah.
and it grows. What we think about grows. Yes,
Hmm.
it's big. So
Hmm.
um so doesn't matter what the number is. Um
Hmm.
let's say they say it's a 4. And your heart just kind of goes, oh,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
a 4. Now
What does that mean?
it's their 4.
Yeah.
So you can go to a place of, oh, well, what makes you think of it as a 4?
Yeah.
That could be a place. Or, oh, what like what evidence did you use to get to a 4?
Mm.
Oh, okay. Um, because it doesn't matter, they're at a 4.
Yeah.
And as a parent and as a coach of people, my job is to
Hmm.
meet people where they are.
Yes.
Oh, so I have to know where you are before I can even begin. Because I don't know how to get to a 5 if I feel like a 4.
Hmm. Hmm.
And for me to tell somebody, well, you need to be here, well, they would be there if they knew how.
Hmm. Hmm. Totally.
So,
Or if you're
hey,
that where you're bringing me into the when somebody is feeling lots of activation, like just calm down. Like, whoa, I would if I could, if I knew how, or like wouldn't be in this. Yeah. So
right,
that's so important to share. And even in the slowing this down of like, where would you assign it? And it's like that doesn't their definition, like how like my for and the reasons why I might put it there, like not gonna that's not about me. and matching and trying to make up a story. It's
Yeah.
literally attuning to getting curious, like, well, what contributed to that for in your mind? Or the way that you said it was way more eloquent, but leaning in there,
Yeah.
we're going to, and then being able to um, stay with that curiosity without trying to fix it. I think that
Oh,
is our work as parents,
oh,
like the collective, right? Even coaches too. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I can't fix somebody else's feeling because it's not mine. I
Mm,
don't own the way
yeah.
other people feel. You're allowed to feel any way you want to feel. It's not my job to
Mm,
fix the feeling. So, like when I'm talking with, especially like university team captains or leaders, this is
mm-hmm,
one of the big things because people come to them with all these feelings and these. I use the DISC assessment a lot. I think you're familiar with
mm-hmm.
that because
Yeah.
just because it's easy to think about and if somebody's an I and an S on that DISC, they tend to own other people's feelings
Mm-hmm.
and fix it. And I'm like, no, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
So I use this image, and I think I think it works, or I wouldn't use it. There's a difference between backpacks and boulders in life.
Mm,
Backpacks are stuff that every single human being owns.
mm,
Mine. I can't give it to anybody else. I also
mm,
don't reach into somebody else's.
mm,
Oh, so things like feelings, attitude, effort,
mm-hmm.
words, actions,
Yeah.
all mine.
Mm,
Don't get to blame anybody else. Like, you don't know what they said to me. I don't care what they said to you. I mean, I do,
mm,
but
yeah.
but no, 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 no. Who's in charge of you?
Yeah.
Oh, and so now there's boulders,
Yeah.
Samantha, that we come around people and we help shoulder the boulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Mm-hmm.
got to know the difference. And so when parents are talking to their kids, I don't know that there's a whole lot of boulders that come our.
Yeah.
They're mostly just feelings and trying to figure out stuff and hormones are going and they don't even know what they feel 5 minutes to the next sometimes.
It can definitely change 5 minutes later.
Oh my gosh.
Or we're still like, oh, like we're still maybe in that conversation and they're like, what's for dinner? You're just like, wait,
Right.
hold on.
Oh,
Did I just,
yeah.
where are we at now? Yeah.
So 1 to 10, they give you a number.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, tell me more about that. There's another great, it's not really a question, but it's an invitation.
Mm.
You could ask it as a question. Oh, could you tell me more about that?
Yeah.
Notice how it's curious.
Hmm.
I am. Eyebrows are raised. I'm leaning in. It's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a lot here too. Um, and then comes the real key. I think if I can be present with them in their
Hmm.
thing. Oh, so a 4. Okay, so what would you have done different to make it a 5?
Yeah.
Ah, see, it's in their backpack.
Yeah.
They own that. Well, you should have done this. No, 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 not yours. Well, you could have done.
Hmm.
No, 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 no. Well, I saw that. No,
Yeah.
because then I'm reaching into what belongs to them, and isn't that parenting, teaching them to own their backpack? I mean, and
Hmm.
it's hard, and it's not for the faint of heart, and it's dang. I mean, you know, my kids could sing like angels at church on Sunday morning, and then by 5 minutes in the door from church, you're like, "Who are you? Did you hear anything?" Kind of.
It's real.
Okay,
It's
it's
so real.
real.
Yeah.
Um,
That
so
I'm
that's my
just
favorite
hanging in
question.
this. Yeah, that's thank you for sharing and for sharing this. I could just go into that moment too of like, that's the pause. Like I find that's such a skill.
Applause, isn't it?
So simple, but also like challenging when when our stress level internally, right? So it's managing our own backpack. Like
Correct.
that's it, right? Like what's going on in my backpack? Do I have the capacity to turn toward to be able to hold space? Because I find when mine's feeling full, right, or I'm not managing what's in there very well, that it's a harder space to sit. And what something I'm just going to out myself that I was reading, it was a question posed, right? So the power of questions around connecting in like how much work I do on my phone, right? Like, so the attunement of actually not having a device, like it's too many moments since I read that question where I'm like, ooh, it's in my hand when someone's talking to me and I need to put that down. I want to, right?
Correct.
And so that piece, as far as environment, in places and spaces. Yeah. Do you want to like, as when it comes to the asking of questions, couple things like the environment, matters, like folding in the phone thing, making sure that we have that phone out of our hand. And then the other piece is, what if they show up without, like, what if they just kind of don't want to talk?
Right.
Like, what if
Oh,
they,
yeah.
yeah, like,
Happens all the time, right? Or
yeah.
or you've asked the 1 to 10 question 10 times over the
Hmm.
last 3 months, and they're like, seriously, you're asking me that again? So okay, so
Yeah.
how do you want to grade or gauge
Mm,
how it went? I don't care.
yeah.
I don't care what they use. I have
Right.
to find out where they are.
Where they are. That's the intention. So that's so beautiful too, to pull that out and extract of like, for me to be able, because we hear about empathy, we hear about attunement, we hear about these pieces and how important they are, and they are. And you can't, like you named that earlier, you can't attune and have empathy and sit with someone if you don't know where they are. And so the doorway in of how are we meeting our kids where they are, how are we learning that information? Yeah, that's so
I'll,
powerful.
and some of us, I'll out myself, have a really, I'm not even sure I can spell empathy. Um,
Mm.
it's not natural to me,
Yeah.
and I have to work
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
So here's a trick that I will use with clients. I'll use it with
Mhm.
athletes. I think it works for parents because really what I do is all about helping people learn to be in charge of themselves.
Yeah.
Not anything else. Feel whatever you feel, but
Mhm.
you choose. So
Yep.
one of the ways to do that, because human being we don't like to make changes in our habits. In fact, we're not very good at it because it's so hard.
Ugh. Mhm.
And so how do we break it down a little bit? Okay, I will often ask, let's just use a parent, so what are you like when you get in these conversations? What's going on inside of you?
Yeah.
And they may say, "Ah, I just get so anxious. I just so hurt for them that they feel this way." Okay, all right. So if you chose a different viewpoint or a different
Mm.
response, what would that be?
Mm.
Get to choose. So, um, like a lot, you mentioned the pause, and you and I
Yeah.
both know how vital that is.
Mhm.
Absolutely vital. If I can learn to pause between the event and
Mhm.
my response, boy, am I going to lead better. Um,
Mhm.
so I'll simply, they're like, I really need to pause in order to get into this new behavior. Great. Let's use it as an acronym. PAUSE.
Mm.
What are the small behaviors that you do to help yourself pause? Oh, and you know what? The P often ends up at phone
Mm.
down.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So if I'm going to
So true. Mhm.
pause, what do I do?
Mm.
Listen is a
Mm.
great one, right? Listen.
Mm.
Okay. So I can't just will myself into listening better. You know,
Mm.
look in the mirror after I brush my teeth, get all ready to go out the door. I'm like, you're going to listen today. And that'll take like, as soon as you've driven out of your neighborhood and you meet somebody that doesn't drive like you do, you're done. So, um,
True story.
you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Human.
and so LISTEN. I'm gonna put you on the spot here in a minute, but
Yeah.
but but lean
Yeah.
in.
Ready.
Lean in. I'm gonna listen
Mm.
better if I lean in. Yeah. I
Mhm.
inquisitive. I'm gonna
Mm.
I'm gonna be curious. I'm gonna ask questions. Yeah. S could be silence.
Mm.
Yeah. If
Mm.
I'm not quiet now, there's a verbal quietness and there's a mental emotional quietness too, and that's part of what
Mhm.
we've alluded to. So
Yeah.
LIST, the T, it was really about talk, because I do need to talk, but I've got to watch my tone.
Mhm.
uh,
Mm.
oh, right.
Tone. Mhm.
Huge. Now, you ready? E and N. What helps me listen better to people, or how do you know people are listening? We'll put you on the spot if that's okay.
Yeah. How do we know?
No, what do we do?
So nonverbal's huge, right? And the E. Is it start with an E? Is this what you're quizzing me on?
Start with an E and got to start with an N. You can do
Yeah.
this again if you don't
How
have
do
the
we
E
know?
yet. Don't have to do this in order.
Yeah. I would say nodding,
Nodding.
like
Right.
partly that
Right. If
like
I nod my
engagement
head,
physically.
it helps me
Um,
listen and it
yeah.
communicates I'm listening. Now, E.
Hmm. Mm. Eye contact.
Eye contact.
Yeah.
That's right. If I look at the person,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
tend to listen to them better. So here's one of my leadership axioms.
Yeah.
I can act my way into a new feeling. I'm so
Mm.
anxious that's keeping
Mm.
me from listening. And I can't change. I'm not going to attack the feeling. I'm going to
Yep.
do something. I have to do something to move myself there. And that's where the acronyms become so
Mhm.
enormously powerful. Um,
That's brilliant.
I had a
Yeah.
coach.
This, um,
Go ahead.
oops, sorry.
No,
We're talking,
no, no.
I get excited speaking of listening,
We're both
working
excited.
with a little bit of a lag in our technology. I forget what his last name is. He wrote the book Shift. He's up at Michigan, and
Oh,
he
yeah, I've got it.
talks about, yes, and this idea of like that modulation. So the first, I think what I didn't know for so long that kept me stuck in railing against my emotions, and this was post my daughter's heart surgery, and it came, and like the learning was with getting triggered, and I would get so mad, like, why am I triggered, and kind of fighting that feeling. And then it was this learning of, oh, like these automatic sensations are our brain is constantly taking in information, and that we can't control. But what we do with that, which is what you're saying
Yeah,
here, is like, yeah, we can talk to ourselves, take action to create a different internal experience instead of sitting in that emotion.
yeah,
So I think, yeah, I'm curious, when you're out in the world working too, is like the resistance to feeling is in part been my experience that it's a fear of being consumed and stuck there, right? Like, so yeah, so no, brilliant. That is, I love that. Our way into a new feeling.
act
Yes,
way
beautiful.
to a new thing.
That gives us agency.
Correct.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually get to be in
yeah.
charge. And so
Hmm.
when you and I when we work with athletes, my guess is you go for some small wins. Let's have some small
Yeah.
wins, because that's going
Hmm.
to create that motivation. And oh, this does work. Oh, I can do this. Oh, yes, you can.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Um,
I'm curious what the pause stands for. Do you have that acronym too? Because we said put down phone.
I
That
mean, I
one
use listen a
is
lot,
stick with
but
me.
like phone
I love
down. I mean,
listen.
I could look up my notes
Yeah.
from clients, but let's think about it for a minute. Um,
Right.
what do I do?
Ex- I think accepting too, right? Like that, you've named that, is like that again, that nuanced way of talking about acceptance, not as this surrender and resignation, but this level of like,
Right.
okay, so like my backpack's got what it's got.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Here's where I'd
now what?
back on you if you were a client and you said
Yeah.
accepting.
Yeah.
It's not really an action.
Mm,
how do I do it? It's more of a
hmm
mindset, and that's
hmm
what we got. Like athletes will say, "Oh, I just need to focus on it more," and I'm like, "Yeah, that won't work.
mm
Your brain is
hmm
far too. You have to act your way.
Yes.
Oh, well, what am I going to do? Right. Um, it's sort of like
hmm
understanding the brain doesn't know faster. Go faster. What's that?
Oh, so that's so I know this is like,
I mean,
can you take us
keep
there?
going now.
Yeah. What?
Now,
So,
I think I need to give a little bit of a disclaimer, or a context, because I am not a sports psychologist. Now, I have a psychology
hmm
degree and certainly seminary and 30 years
mm,
of working with people at the
yeah.
highest of highs in life and
hmm
the absolute most devastating times of their lives. So I have been up close with people at all of
hmm
those. So it's all about people. Now, I do have a PhD neuropsychologist who is one of my advisors, and we do lunch and he schools me. And when I run into a problem, I'll be like, "Doc, you gotta, talk me through this." So it's not
Yeah.
just this self-talk mumbo jumbo or playing with.
Yeah. I appreciate the um, picture you're painting in terms of your experience. And I also, there's a lot of value in learning from humans and being able to sit with them and see humans up close, like you're talking about the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And then the conversation around go faster, where we're talking about the brain, this space of taking action to change the internal states, it's reminding me too of the limitations in terms of just talking to ourselves. Like my area of focus of the last probably 5 years has been heavily in terms of like somatic experiencing and body, like nervous system states. And so, yeah, I would love to learn from you. So, what have you learned in terms of if we just say to go like focus, or I'm going to go
Right.
faster, or yeah, how can we embody that? How can we help our body learn?
So it's probably all under that umbrella of how can I act my way? If I
hmm
went faster, what would I be doing?
hmm
Ah,
hmm
that becomes the key to it. So maybe
Yeah.
I'm using an acronym again, or maybe I'm just looking at somebody, and let's use a swimmer,
hmm
that okay, so you want a faster turn or a faster last 25, or what do you have to do that makes you go
hmm
faster? Well, I just have to try hard. No, no, it's not about trying
Oh, the try harder.
hard.
Oh,
Y-
we're yeah, we don't need to go too far down that
no,
there's a whole rabbit hole of influence for our young
whole
people
big,
that is just screaming that. Yeah.
whole big.
Yep.
And I don't
hmm
know if you've read the book Peak, Anders Ericsson.
No, but I love.
So
Oh, maybe I have.
it
Yes. Yes.
basically
Yeah.
what he says is people who succeed at what they're trying to do try differently. They don't try harder.
hmm
Oh, okay, so let's think outside this box. And if you go back to that disc assessment, and they're a high C,
Yeah.
which is that very rigid, planned spreadsheet person.
Mm-hmm.
And if their plan's not working, they're just going to keep beating on that wall. No, no,
Yeah.
no, it's okay. It's okay if the
Yeah.
plan didn't work. It's not that you didn't work, it's the plan didn't work. It's okay.
Yep.
So there's failure, right? We could go down that rabbit hole.
hmm
Um, so best way is an illustration. So my first Olympian that I worked with, Israeli breaststroker, world class 50, pretty dang good 100, won
hmm
won SECs 3 years in a row. So
Yeah.
okay, pretty dang
Fast.
fast,
Yep.
but couldn't swim a 200 to save his life.
Yep.
So
That's
and
he's not alone in that. Yeah. I couldn't swim a 25 breaststroke if I tried really hard. Like maybe I should have tried differently. I don't
right,
know.
try differently.
Anyway,
Oh, and I should say he's given me permission to talk about him. I do not just throw
beautiful.
around names and
Yeah,
who
yeah.
I'm working with. I just don't. I don't even put it on the website. Uh,
Yeah,
it's
same.
it's just no. Um, so when we started working together at his university. Um, he didn't want anything to do with me at first. He thought this was just stupid what I had to bring and just dumb and just blah, 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 blah. And then it's so many months later and you get a text from the deck of SECs that's from the coach that says, "Thanks, we couldn't have done it without you."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the question is, Itai, where's
Mhm.
the glitch in the race for you?
Yeah.
Where's the challenging part? He goes, third turn. Well, of course,
Mm.
because he's a world-class 50, can't swim a 200, so he's
Yeah.
starting to get taxed. Okay, what do you tell yourself on the third lap or fourth lap? And he goes,
Mhm.
"Go faster, go faster." Okay. So what do you have to do to go faster? And he went through all the iterations of this. Well, I have to try harder. I have
Mm.
to pull better. I have to kick. I hate the word better. What's
Yeah.
better?
What does it mean?
What's that? Um,
Yeah.
so finally we got to this place of, once he knew what happened to him during
Mm.
the fourth lap, self-awareness,
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
self-awareness, absolute
Yeah.
key to leadership. I don't care where you are, what you're doing. Got to be aware of
Yeah.
me. And I'm older than you, and I have news for
Mm-hmm.
you. Never arrive. It's
I think I've learned that by now,
a
though. It's
constant
like,
journey.
wait, hold on.
Okay.
It's
Um,
definitely a journey. Ah.
so
And how exciting. Because every new layer you peel is like another level of freedom in this. So there's that. Yeah.
so Itai finally goes. He's like, I don't really push as hard off that turn as okay.
Mm.
And and we know there's 20 different ways to swim breaststroke. And for him, it was his chest would fall, so it wasn't up, and his head
Mm-hmm.
would drop instead of forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said, so now we obviously lots of conversation. Now we know the three things you want to do. So
Yeah.
what can you say to yourself going into the third turn? And
Mm.
he came up with push chest head. And
Beautiful.
he only had to say it once. Boom,
Mm-hmm.
off he went. But
Yeah.
there's the mind body.
Mm-hmm.
Words are powerful, but he also obviously trained himself. Now,
Yeah.
move to uh, seeking to make the 21 Olympic team, because yeah,
Mm.
he's like, how do I keep going after the cancellation, the postponement? So
Yeah.
we did a lot of work together, and I said, and Israeli or outside of the U.S., Australia, Canada, Great Britain, Olympic trials are very different. You
Yeah.
qualify for the team.
Well, they're chasing those FINA cuts too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
so he's got to get
Yeah.
that, and he's got to be top two, just at some
Mm-hmm.
point. And he had a blowout meet, just phenomenal in Italy. And I said, "What made the difference?" He said, "It's just behind the block." And I just said, "Let's just go for it. Let's just see what happens." Ah, nice mindset, right?
Yeah.
But then it was okay. I want you. He hadn't made the Olympic team yet. I want you to picture yourself walking out onto the deck in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
What do you look like? What are you wearing?
Mm.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I had him write the story.
Mm.
Then I said this: every day when you come out to practice, I want you to be that. Now
Yes.
he wasn't going to have the park on. He wasn't going to have the headphones on, maybe,
Right.
but or maybe not the shoes, but yeah. So I've got this picture off the TV of him walking out, and I'm like, yes, that's it. But we
That's
started
it.
that process so many months ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
This
yeah.
this is so directly connected to the work. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Dr. Stamatis, who's at Louisville. He's like mental performance expert, but studies mental toughness. And what you're describing is all three of those pillars that he touched on. And this, the one that's really just jumping at me is this efficiency. And so this idea of what is that, what is that, what are you wanting, right? And then this idea of the actions that get you there. What can we do to take steps toward that, to be in alignment there,
Yeah.
and embodying this energy of the space. And as parents, yeah, I'm curious when as we're home and watching, and I shared, I think, on that episode with him that my daughter at the time, we'd gone through a move, and we were, it was a lot of stress, a lot of change, and she had fallen off some of the things that she normally would tend to when it came to her. Like, she has really big dreams that she's kind of declared to herself, to us, and shared. And so she was out of that like space of efficiency, is what he calls, like, this are your actions. Are you acting in the way? To be taking action in the way, right? To be able to show up in alignment with your goals. So I'm curious your approach. Like, if I was saying, if, we were working together and I'm like, what, my kid's showing up this way, like, what's a great entryway into, like, is it even our job to mirror in that way? What's a way to ask questions in that way that get them thinking about that? Yeah. What would you say to that?
Certainly, parents have some, what's the right word? Some ownership of the food in the house,
Mm,
the drinks in the house, the even frankly screen time of the TV.
mm-hmm.
So, and these are all things that impact our behavior toward the goals. Um,
Yeah.
so I do encourage parents to be like, okay, so how many grams of protein are you eating? Are
Mm,
you eating it 30 minutes after a workout?
mm-hmm.
And hey, sometimes it just ain't possible,
Yeah. Yeah. That's real.
right?
That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
but are those in the house? What are the snacks? So some of it's the fueling. Um,
Yeah.
I think these days a lot of it's the phone.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's hey, how many hours of sleep on average do you get? I frequently ask that question, and
Mm-hmm.
you intuitively know this, and or you've seen the research.
Yeah.
If 25 and under athletes who get less than an average of 8 hours of sleep a night are more prone to injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm.
plain and simple. We're not much better if we
Mm-hmm.
get less than, I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, it's like the number one
Right.
performance factor,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sleep, and
Sleep. You
so important.
can't
Mm-hmm.
can't overemphasize or discount sleep. So I
Mm-hmm.
do talk about phones and notifications.
Mm-hmm.
Turn the dang notifications on the social media off. I'm
Off.
not going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you not to use it, but
Mm-hmm.
probably be helpful. But um,
Mm-hmm.
but check it when you want to check it, because if you check it when the phone dings or vibrates,
Yeah.
guess who's in charge of you?
Yeah.
Not
Goes back to your
you.
who's in charge of you. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
on the ice rink, on the basketball
Mm-hmm.
court, on the track, the field, the pitch, the pool,
Mm-hmm.
how are you training your brain
Mm-hmm.
to be there?
Yeah.
Uh,
That's it. And when I don't want to be, right? Like, the motivation
oh,
comes up when we talk about that. It's like, I don't feel like it, but that goes back to
I
what you're
get
sharing around your feelings are valid. And also, they don't get to be the boss of you, right?
sometimes
Yeah.
we didn't go to practice. Our kids, they were like, okay, well, let's stay home. It's okay.
Mm,
It's okay.
yeah.
Um, you know,
Can you hang there for a sec? Because how do you I've had this, even I was working with a rower on the national team, and we were talking about, like, the space of rest. So this is like, like, in one of our many conversations, and like, I don't want to disclose personal
yeah,
details, but this idea of, it's not just her, I also experienced it, but this idea of, like, when do I not give in? That's the wrong language, but when do I listen to my body and actually take those feelings into consideration and change my action? Let that change what I'm doing. We could even jump into a meet warm up if we're sticking to swim. Like, I feel a certain way. When do we adjust our behavior versus when do we stay the course? Yeah. Do you have any guidance for navigating that space that can sometimes feel really confusing?
Yeah. I will I will say to athletes, just choose one thing that you're going to really, really perfect during that warm up.
Mm,
Just one. Because I don't feel like being there. I'm just not here. I'm not in.
mm,
Well, okay. I can act my way into a new feeling. So,
mm,
what's the one thing that you could just really like in swimming? I'm going to really blowtorch my underwaters because what's the most important turn of a practice? It's the first one.
mm,
Um, but any sport, yeah. I mean, I work with some collegiate golfers, and so the sport doesn't matter. What are you going to do
mhm,
during that time, and just focus on one thing,
mm.
and perfect it, notice it.
Yeah,
Um, that seems to experientially that seems to work.
yeah.
It's not a magic pill, but
Well, you're using it that you're providing. So in mindfulness, that's like the language we would use there is anchor. You're giving them anchors, and then the anchor
yeah.
that becomes the focal point, and then the action and the energy behind it. It's like, okay, you just so beautifully like the backpack piece and the feelings. It's like they can exist and they're okay and they're valid. And also, like, what does alignment look like? What's efficiency look like?
So
And can we just do this one thing? And then when it's kind of like when I started post kids, I was like, how am I going to get my workout in? I don't feel like it today. And I'm like, 5 minute rule. I don't know. I just
yeah,
like made it up. I'm like, I'll give myself 5 minutes. Almost. Oh, I can't even remember. Maybe one time I was sick,
yep,
but at 5 minutes, I already felt a shift. And I'm like, oh, like,
correct.
okay, I can finish this. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So in this
how it
agency
works.
that you're, yeah, it's so powerful. So agency is this, for those not familiar, like that sense of ownership, like I got this, like I have
Yeah,
some level of
yeah,
control to impact what happens to me and what happens next.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Back to that whole idea of no, you can you
Yeah,
really you can be in charge of you.
yeah,
Okay, so what does that look like? What's one
hmm,
thing you would do? It's if I'm asking that 1 to 10, it's
yeah,
well, what's one thing you might do to move it to a 5
yeah,
from the 4? It's just one thing, but
yeah,
we human beings don't make changes in our lives because we see the 200 things we want to change.
yeah,
And then where do I start? Well, I choose one.
hmm,
Now, hey, I
hmm,
got my stuff. We all got our stuff.
hmm,
Okay, it's okay. But what am I
yeah.
going to choose to do? Uh,
That's so beautiful.
because
Makes it feel way more manageable. Yeah,
I do
yeah,
get to choose. Now,
hmm.
the other side of the coin is, dang it, I have to choose. Yeah, you do.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a great point of this. There's an, yeah, like if I'm not choosing, I can't be accountable. Like, but now if I do, right. Yeah. And we can, like, this energy of this conversation is like, okay, we can.
You can.
Yeah. So from a parent perspective, like the pause, right? Pausing, putting down our phones, opening space and listening, and really genuinely doing so with curiosity,
Yeah,
not our stories and attachments.
yeah.
And this, yeah, and this reminder, I think it's, yeah, like this idea of it's okay to mirror what we're seeing and getting curious about that and asking those questions of what action, like how can we help our kids learn through questions and inquiry
Hmm.
what that next step is. Like what, not we're going to tell them, oh, you should, like you said, like should do this, this, and this. It's like that will, then they're going to want to do the opposite,
Well,
but rather
yeah, that's part
what could they do? Yeah, so powerful. Oh my gosh, Jeff, there's so many.
of
I feel
the
like I literally could stay on the whole
whole.
day with you
We could talk
and
for a while.
talk.
Well, that's what we found
Really,
when we first connected. We're like, oh my gosh, this could go on and on.
it's so
Which is
cool.
exciting
Yeah,
to have somebody like you that we're such similar space, and I love
yeah.
the message you give. Uh,
Mhm.
it's just so similar to my heartbeat. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, the being able to be in charge of myself so that I can be
Mhm.
there for my kids the way I want to. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
And you don't have to have all
Mhm.
the answers, mom and dad. Oh, do you always have to
Mhm.
fix things? Do you always have to have an
Mhm.
answer for it? Or can you say, wow, that is a great question. I don't know.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, you could follow that up with, who do we know that might have that answer? Oh,
Mm.
okay. Is there somebody
Yeah.
you know on your team that you could ask? Who do you know that does this? And you kind of
Mhm.
admire that. How could we find out? See?
Mhm.
I
So
sure I can walk
beautiful.
alongside them. Absolutely. I'm the parent.
Y
Grow up,
Mhm. Yeah.
and hold their hand and walk along with them and just let them
Mhm.
know that you're there to advocate for them.
Yeah.
But you also don't have to take over. Oh my
We
word.
don't
I mean, working with a
get
collegiate rowing team recently,
Mhm.
and the coaches are telling me about this parent that wanted to come to the workouts. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
No,
In college?
in college.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I barely am okay with high school athletes, high school parents sitting in the stands. I think it's
Right.
okay, but because I kind of did, but that was because we had
Mhm.
3 kids in 3 different workout groups, and they're
Literally, it's like, well, no, this is so beautiful, so helpful. Like this, there's so many nuggets that I can't wait for my Amy, who does my social media, for her to pull from our conversation to be able to share
good.
and pull people in to listen to this in its entirety, because the questions that you asked here. And so I would love for you to share where people can find your book, where they can find your more information about you, contact you, connect with you. So yeah, where can people find you?
Thank you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the book, now that's a great question. Self-published, and it came out of the YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
Level Up Leadership Coaching in the YouTube channel. And yeah, so I self-published the book. They can get it from me. I kind of shut down the Amazon store because it was,
Okay.
I did.
So they reach it's yes, and it's
Yeah.
really great.
Um,
Like I love touching, like I love my books
yeah.
tactily.
Yeah.
So, and I highly recommend follow on YouTube, because the seeds, it's so simple.
It's more,
I can't do that. Like
right.
I've tried so hard to make my videos 30 seconds or a minute, and I'm way too long-winded. So
Um,
the nugget you just drop in. Yeah.
yeah.
So following you there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Follow it there. I mean, yeah, there's like 860 leadership question videos now.
So
And it's
good.
because I started
Yeah.
doing them in the pandemic, and like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do now? Um,
Hmm.
and so I just keep doing them, and remake some, but they're a minute and a half, 3 minutes, just thinking about these questions, and it is geared a little bit more toward leaders and in business, but hey, parents running the business. Uh,
Yes,
and,
we're leaders
uh,
of our home and I think too, there's self
responsibility.
leadership in that.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Coaches are
Yeah.
running the business. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so I use the
Yeah.
same approach with a sports coach as I do with a Toyota manager. It
Mhm.
because you're running the business and you're a person,
Right.
more importantly.
Yes.
um,
That's it.
so they
That's
can do
everything.
that. My website, levelupleadershipcoach.com. It's a little
Mhm.
long, but there's some info there, and there's contact there, which would be a way
Great.
to get the book.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I just maybe it's, can't believe I'm going to say this,
Mhm.
that I don't have a set fee for people.
Mhm.
I know what I'm worth, and I tell them, but your life circumstances, and
Mm.
you know what the budget handles. So I never want money to be the deciding factor of somebody getting great leadership coaching.
That's
So
beautiful.
I've worked with athletes for $0, because in
Mm.
one instance, mom was going through cancer treatments.
Yeah.
They don't have the budget for that. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
And then I got people who do.
Mm-hmm.
Because what drives me is to make a difference. So
Yes.
let's make a difference. And in my vernacular, I'll let the Lord take care of the money. It'll
That's
happen.
beautiful.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But we're
Yes.
not going to not pour into people's lives
Mm-hmm.
because of that. Maybe that's a good
You
way to
just
wrap up.
that's so beautiful, and it really is like it just speaks to the soul. So thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate you
Thank you.
and all of your like just who you are and how you show up and what you're pouring into in our container. That's also, I'm glad that you're reaching outside of swim as well. So appreciate you. Thank you for being on, and I'm excited for people to be in touch and follow you.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
for the privilege.
Okay.